Moscow had picked Suren Aratunian, a colleague of the liberal Yakovlev, to run Armenia. They hoped he would strengthen the local party and undercut nationalism, the same reasons they had chosen Brazauskas in Lithuania. Aratunian, however, came into conflict with the Armenian party's entrenched and corrupt bureaucracy, popularly called the Mafia. The Karabakh Committee had attacked the party Mafia to rally public support for their cause.
In the Soviet Union, the Mafia and the state are linked. And it's more protected here than elsewhere. In Italy or the United States, when you say mafia, it just means organized crime. So if a senator or a policeman gets involved, it's a huge scandal. But here, in the Soviet Union, it's like this. Mafia, the state, and law enforcement all overlap and add up to the same thing. The criminals are closely connected to the shady economy, and they in turn are connected to the party and to law enforcement. It's all intertwined.
The Karabakh Committee printed a leaflet after the earthquake that said the Soviet government should not be trusted with the money from foreign aid. And so to keep the money out of the hands of the local party mafia, we opened foreign bank accounts so we could run the relief effort. We were distributing the supplies when they arrested us. Even though I was a member of parliament, even though I had legal immunity, they ignored the law and arrested me anyway.
The arrested Armenians were sent to KGB prisons in Moscow and for 5 months cut off from all information.
It was May 3rd. I was having my dinner in prison with the other inmates who were your ordinary criminals. I got this package, and inside this package there was an apple. And I took this apple, and I pulled it apart. And inside there was a piece of paper. I carried this paper with me always. It had news from Armenia written on it. It said our movement was still alive and active, and that the struggle continued. One day they opened the gates. They handed me a document, and it said that I was released from prison. I walked to the nearest metro and went up to the ticket man. I showed him the paper, and I said, I'm a political prisoner just out of prison, just out of jail. I don't have any money. Will you let me travel for free?
The release of the committee followed 6 months of constant Armenian pressure on the Kremlin. Far from weakening the Armenian movement, the arrests had united nationalist forces in the republic. As in Lithuania, a non-communist movement had won the public support needed to begin leading their people away from Moscow's domination. At this moment, in the spring of 1989, the same rebellious spirit echoed throughout the Soviet Union. As he had promised at the UN, Gorbachev created a new Soviet parliament, the Congress of People's Deputies. In the closest thing to free elections ever held in the Soviet Union, a surprising number of hardline communists were ousted by democratic candidates. The largest anti-communist vote had come from Lithuania. Almost all of their deputies were from the nationalist group Sąjūdis. The voices from street rallies around the republics were about to be heard inside the Kremlin.
On the eve of the first Congress, the atmosphere was extremely tense. We wanted things to go as smoothly as possible, but instead, we had an uproar.
Gorbachev sought powers that would enable Moscow to reverse many new laws that were being passed by republics seeking self-rule.
We opposed this because it would have given them a chance to strangle the republics from the center. By the time we and the other republics had adopted these constitutional amendments, Gorbachev said the amendments were illegal, so they had to be repealed.
After the debate, Gorbachev had enough support in the Congress to win the vote, but things didn't go according to plan.
61 delegates abstained.
Right. Decision taken.
From the Lithuanian Republic, 50 delegates did not vote.
The next move by the Lithuanian delegation stunned the Congress. All 50 abstaining deputies walked out.
Comrades, please keep calm. It's not that simple. Let's not jump to conclusions.
I was sitting up on the platform. The walkout by our delegates put me in a very difficult position, and I had to decide what I should do. I was really put on the spot. Gorbachev called me over and told me to go out and speak to them.
Brazauskas failed to persuade them to return. The proceedings in the hall came to a standstill.
Gorbachev and I went to speak to the Lithuanian delegation to prove to them our position. It was really a very serious situation.
We had to explain that we were not demanding anything. They could all vote however they wanted. I just explained why we were not going to vote, why we wouldn't take part.
We talked then just about restoring Lithuanian sovereignty. Not independence, just sovereignty. Our main goal was still sovereignty.
Our position was clear. We had to defend Lithuanian interests, not make laws for the Soviet Union.
When we mentioned sovereignty, Gorbachev joked, well, maybe someday, when time has passed, we'll welcome you and roll out a red carpet. But for now, let's just talk as people's deputies and stick to the rules.
In any case, we wanted to come to some kind of agreed solution, a consensus, an agreement where we could invite the delegation back, so we could work together at the Congress.
This showed a new, highly significant stage of conflict. It was just starting, and I knew it would get a lot worse. It was going to be an acute struggle. I was very worried, very worried.